Hi guys, this is Sadek from Dwellin.com, and in this video, we'll show you two methods through which you could install the Paranoid Android ROM on your Poco F4. The first method is via the Fastboot method, and the second one is using the recovery method. The Fastboot method is easier to carry out and is quite shorter, whereas the recovery method is quite lengthy and might be a little bit complicated. With that said, I'll show you both these methods. Please go through them once and then try out the one which is in line with your requirement. So please take a backup of all the data on your phone because both these methods will wipe off all the data. So take a backup and then let's get started. First and foremost, I'll show you the Fastboot method and then I'll show you the recovery method. So let's get started with the Fastboot method to install the Paranoid Android ROM on your Poco F4. So first and foremost, you have to install Android SDK platform tools. This is the official ADB binary given by Google and is required to execute ADB command. So download it from the link given in my guide and extract them onto your PC. You could extract them anywhere you want. In my case, I've done the extraction in E drive. You could extract them anywhere on your PC. Once that is done, you will have to enable USB debugging and OEM unlocking. USB debugging is required to execute ADB command, whereas OEM unlocking is required to unlock the bootloader on your phone. So let's now carry out both this task. So go to the settings menu on your phone, then go to about phone, and then you have to go to MIUI version and tap on it 7 times. You will get a prompt that you are now a developer. So now go back, again go back, now go to additional settings and you should now see developer option. Go there and enable the toggle next to OEM unlocking as well as USB debugging. You will get a prompt on your phone. So you will have to check mark I'm aware of the risk and now you have to wait for 10 seconds. Once that time frame has elapsed, just tap on OK and with this debugging has been enabled. You might get an RSA key fingerprint prompt. So tap on OK and with this we have enabled debugging. So let's now verify the debugging connection. So go to platform tools folder, type in CMD in the address bar and hit enter. Just a minute, let me do so right once more. So just type in CMD and hit enter. This will launch command prompt inside the platform tools folder directory as you could see. Now type in ADB devices and hit enter. Make sure you are getting a serial ID. If you are not getting any ID, then unplug and replug your phone from the PC. Disable and re-enable USB debugging. Tap on revoke USB debugging. Use the official USB cable that came with your phone and use the USB 2.0 port on your PC. So carry out these USB tweaks and make sure you're getting a serial ID. Once you're getting this ID, your next course of action is to unlock the bootloader on your phone. Do keep in mind that this will wipe off all the data and it might make the warranty null and void. So if that's well and good, you could refer to my guide or the video. I have linked the video as well and get this job done. You please only carry out this task using the official May Unlock tool. I have made a link of that tool as well. You could refer to my guide and the video and make sure to get this job done. Once the process is complete, you will get an unlock successful message. So your phone will undergo a reset after unlocking is done. So set up your phone, re-enable USB debugging, and let's now move on to the next step. So next step, you now have to download the ROM. So as of now, I'm using the Fastboot method. So if you are also using the Fastboot method, then you'll have to expand this section and download the Fastboot option. This will download the ROM and the name of the file should be something along the lines of this. Let me show you. This is the Fastboot ROM. At the end of the ROM, the name is image. So this signifies that it's a Fastboot ROM. So download this ROM and then transfer this ROM onto the platform tools folder on your PC. So copy this ROM and just transfer it in the platform tools folder. You could also move the ROM directly here. So let's wait for the ROM to be transferred and then we'll move on to the next step. So just remember, if you're downloading the Fastboot ROM, make sure to download the Fastboot option only. So with that said, the downloading has now started and we have already done so. So once you have done the download, transfer the ROM to the platform tools folder. As you could see, I've already done that as well. It's just in the process. So let's wait for the time frame. Likewise, I recommend you to rename the file to something shorter, so such that it becomes easier to type in CMD window. So let's just rename the file to ROM and the complete name becomes rom.zip. So let me just refresh it once and I'll show you. So as you could see, it's the name of the Paranoid Android ROM. It's just ROM and the complete name is rom.zip and it's in the platform tools folder. Once that is done, let's now move on to next step. So next up, we now have to boot your phone to the Fastboot mode. So let's do that as well. Just a minute. So go to the platform tools folder, open CMD window inside there and type in ADB, reboot, bootloader and hit enter. This will boot your phone to the Fastboot mode and it will only take a few seconds. So let's wait for the time frame. And our phone should now just boot to the Fastboot mode in a matter of few seconds. And then we'll proceed ahead. So as you could see, our phone is now in the Fastboot mode. Let's now verify the Fastboot connection. So just type in fastboot devices and hit enter. Make sure you are getting a serial ID. If you're not getting any ID, then you will have to install the fastboot drivers. So I linked a guide as well on how to install the fastboot drivers. Please refer to my guide, or you could also refer to the video. I've also linked the video in this guide. So make sure to install this fastboot drivers, and once you have installed those drivers using the instruction given here, you will now have to verify the same. So you could either use the fastboot devices command and get a serial ID, or use the Windows X shortcut key and choose device manager. From here you have to expand the Android phone section and make sure your phone is being shown as Android bootloader interface. So let me show you. This is the Android bootloader interface. So this signifies that our PC is able to read our phone in fastboot mode, and we are now good to go ahead. So next up, you now have to flash the ROM using the fastboot command. This is the entire command using which we will be flashing the ROM. Do keep in mind that the name of the file in our case is rom.zip, and this file should be placed inside the platform tools folder. As you could see, it's a rom.zip file and it's placed inside the platform tools folder. Once that is done, you could simply copy paste the entire command and simply paste it in the CMD window. So let's do that as well. Simply paste the command and hit enter, and the flashing will now begin, and it could take up to a few minutes, approx a couple of minutes. And during the process, it will flash the ROM and it will also wipe off all the data from your phone, and your phone will reboot itself into the fastboot mode. That's completely normal. You don't have to interact with your phone while the flashing is going on. Likewise, your phone will also boot to the fastboot D mode. Currently, as you can see, my phone is in the fastboot D mode. The script will automatically do this. Let me show you. As you can see, it's rebooting into fastboot D mode. The super partition is already flashed, always flash in the fastboot D mode. So it will automatically boot your phone to the fastboot D mode. Over here it's showing fastboot. By fastboot, it means fastboot D. If you're talking about the normal fastboot mode, then it will show the bootloader command. However, if it's showing fastboot, then it means the fastboot D mode. So it will now flash the super partition and the rest of the file in fastboot D mode, and then automatically your phone will boot to the fastboot and the fastboot D mode depending on the files being flashed. You don't have to do anything while the flashing is going on. Just wait for the time frame and then the flashing will be completed. So this is the first method that I am showing you on how to flash the ROM using the fastboot method. The next method will be the recovery method. I'll show you that as well. But let's first wait for the time frame and let the flashing go on. So guys, as you could see, the flashing is now completed. The last file which flashed was regarding the vendor A partition file, rather the vendor.img file. And once the flashing is done, your phone will still be in the fastboot D mode. That's not an issue. Just select the reboot system now option via the volume key and press the power key to confirm. And our phone should now boot to the newly flashed OS. Do keep in mind that the first boot up will take up a few additional seconds. That's completely normal. It's not an issue, and you will have to wait for the time frame, and your phone might do a couple of random reboots. That's also normal, and you will now get the screen. It's the AOSP recovery, rather the Topaz ROM which we have just flashed. Topaz is the build number, so build name, as you could see from here, it's the Topaz table. So the ROM which we have flashed, we are now in that recovery. So you will now have to do a factory data reset. This will wipe off all the data from your phone. So make sure you have taken the backup beforehand. Now you use the volume down key to select the factory data reset and then press the power key to confirm. Let me focus the screen as well. So as you could see, we have chosen the factory data reset. Now just press the power key and to initiate the reset process. So just a minute, let me now focus it. Anyways, I guess as you could see from here, it's the factory data reset. So just press the power key to confirm, and again use the volume key to select factory data reset and press the power key to confirm. And with this, the reset will now begin, and it will only take a few seconds. So as you could see, our phone has now undergone a reset, and it will now subsequently boot to the OS. This reset was required to remove all the types of data encryption, and initially in most custom ROM, the reset option is there inside the script itself, but in this ROM, we could not find the script to perform a factory reset. For the unaware, the command to perform a reset is usually fastboot -w, and this automatically does a format. And in most custom ROM script, you will find this line of command, but this command was not there inside this script. So our phone did not underwent a reset. So we had to manually do a reset. That is why in most cases you will find the fastboot -w and then the update command. But in our case, in this ROM, there was no erase command, so we had to do a manual reset. Anyways, as you could see, our phone is now booted to the newly installed ROM. So I will skip the initial setup screen and directly boot to the OS. So let me skip all these things and I will access the OS and then show you the UI of this ROM. So let me skip this as well and skip it as well. So as you could see, we are now in the Paranoid Android ROM. It's based on Android 13, the latest build. And this is the UI of this ROM, quick setting toggles, and these are the settings menu. From here you could access the various settings. This is the system thermal profiles. You could access or individual profile for each of these apps. It's based on the kernel's benchmarking as well. Apart from that, we have the latest update running. As you could see, it's the Android 13 build. Currently I'm not on the Wi-Fi, so it will not load, but you could easily install the update from here itself. And apart from that, there are a few other goodies, and this is the Android 13. This is a build number, and it's now launched the Android version. As you could see, this is the latest Android 13. So guys, this was the first method through which you could install the Paranoid Android 13 ROM. If you have any queries, do let me know in the comment section. And let's now proceed ahead to flash the ROM using the recovery method. So first and foremost, you have to install the Android SDK platform tools. This is the official ADB binary given by Google and is required to execute the ADB command. So download it from the link given in my guide and extract it onto your PC. You could extract it anywhere you want. I have done the extraction in E drive, as you could see, and these are all the files of the platform tools folder. Once that is done, your next course of action is to enable USB debugging and OEM unlocking. USB debugging is required to execute ADB command, whereas OEM unlocking is required to unlock the bootloader on your phone. So let's now carry out both these tasks. So go to settings menu and then go to about device and tap on MIUI version 7 times. You will get a prompt that you are now a developer. Now go back, go to additional settings. You should now see developer option. Go there and enable the toggle next to OEM unlocking as well as USB debugging. You will get a prompt on your phone. You have to check mark I am aware of all the risk, and then you have to wait for 10 seconds. Once that time frame has elapsed, just tap on OK, and with this the debugging has been enabled. You will now get an RSA key prompt as well. Tap on OK. So with this we have enabled USB debugging. Let's now verify the same. So go to the platform tools folder, type in CMD in the address bar and hit enter. This will launch the command prompt window inside platform tools folder, as you could see. Now type in ADB devices and hit enter. Make sure you're getting a serial ID. If you're not getting any ID, then unplug and replug your phone from the PC, disable and re-enable USB debugging, tap on revoke USB debugging, use the official USB cable that came with your phone, and use the USB 2.0 port on your PC. So carry out this USB tweaks and make sure you're getting a serial ID. Once you're getting this ID, your next course of action is to unlock the bootloader on your phone. Do note that doing so will wipe off all the data from your phone, and it might make the warranty null and void as well. So if that's well and good, then you could refer to my guide and make sure to unlock the bootloader using the Me Unlock tool. Let me just show a screenshot of a few steps. So once you have done the process, you will get an unlock successful message, and with this your phone will undergo a reset, unlock the bootloader, and then you have to set up your phone from scratch. So do so and then re-enable USB debugging. So once you have unlocked the bootloader and re-enabled debugging, let's now move over to the next step. So now you have to first and foremost download the ROM. So you could refer to the official link of the same. So let me now show you. So go to this link, and this time around, since we are using the recovery ROM, you have to hit the recovery option. So hit the recovery option button and download the recovery ROM. So let me show you. The recovery ROM will be named something along the following lines. This is the recovery ROM. In the Fastboot ROM, you will have then image keyword in the end, whereas in the recovery ROM there will be no image keyword. So this is the recovery ROM which we have got. Next up, you also have to download the global firmware, which is based on MIUI 14 and Android 13. So download the firmware for your phone, and let me show you the official. It's not the official site, but it's the most trusted site when it comes to downloading the firmware. So go here and make sure to download the firmware. So let me now show you the firmware as well. This is the firmware which I've downloaded. That's the firmware file. It will be in a zip format. So once you've got the ROM, this is the recovery ROM and the firmware, you'll now have to transfer both this file to your phone. So if your phone is not visible here, let me show you. First, let's copy both this file, and if you could access the phone from here, well and good. If you cannot access the phone from here, if your phone is not being shown on your PC, then all you have to do is just expand the notification section. So let me show you that as well. And from here you have to expand the USB file transfer and make sure to select file transfer, and with this your phone will be visible on your PC, and then you could transfer both the firmware and the ROM file. So both of these files should be in a zip format. The firmware is for our phone and it's based on MIUI version 14, which is the Android 13 build, and the region is global region. You only have to use this firmware. Likewise, also make sure to transfer the ROM file, The ROM is the recovery ROM, which does not have the image keyword as I've shown you before. So make sure to transfer both this file onto your phone. And once that is done, let's now move to the next step. So we have got the ROM and recovery as well. So next up, we now have to flash the TWRP recovery onto our phone. So let me show you how this could be done. So let me now open my guide. And in this regard, your first course of action is to get hold of the recovery file. So you could download the recovery file from the official website. So go to this site and download. Make sure to download only the IMG file. This is the IMG file. We only need this file. We don't need the zip file. So only download the IMG file. And once you have done the download, place the recovery file onto the platform tools folder. So let me do so as well. First off, let's verify if the file transfer is now complete. So we have got both the ROM and the recovery file. So let's now close this window. And so we are now flashing the ROM. So let's now copy the recovery IMG file and place the file inside the platform tools folder on our PC. Likewise, for the ease of convenience, let's rename the file to something shorter. So let's just rename it to TWRP so that the complete name becomes TWRP.img. So with this, we have got the recovery file in the platform tools folder and we'll now have to flash this recovery file. So for that, you will first and foremost have to boot your phone to Fastboot Mode. For booting to Fastboot Mode, you have to open the CMD window inside platform tools folder, then type in ADB reboot bootloader and hit enter. Your phone should now boot to the Fastboot Mode and it will only take a few seconds. So let's wait for the time frame and then we'll proceed ahead with the flashing. So our phone will now boot to the Fastboot Mode and then we will verify the Fastboot connection as well. So as you could see, we are now getting the Fastboot Mode. So although our phone is booted to Fastboot Mode, let's now verify if our PC is able to read our phone in this mode or not. So type in Fastboot devices and hit enter and make sure you are getting a serial ID. If you are not getting any ID, then you will have to install Fastboot drivers. I have made a separate guide and a video on the same. Make sure to refer to this guide and install the Fastboot drivers. Once you have installed the Fastboot drivers, your next course of action is to boot your phone to the TWRP recovery. Since the Poco F4 does not have a recovery partition, we will temporarily boot our phone to the recovery mode. So for that, type in fastboot and then the boot command. Don't use the flash command, only use the boot command. So fastboot boot and then the name of the file, which in our case is twrp.img. So make sure you have this file renamed as twrp and it's there inside the platform folder as you could see from here. So once you have typed in this command, hit enter and our phone should now temporarily boot to the TWRP recovery. So let's wait for the time frame. It should only take a few seconds and our phone will not temporarily boot to this recovery and then we'll flash it and make it permanent. So as of now, our phone has just booted to the recovery for one-time usage. So let's now make the recovery permanent. For that, you have to go to advanced and select flash current TWRP and perform a right swipe to confirm. With this, the recovery file will now be permanently flashed onto our phone and the process should only take a few seconds. So let's wait for the time frame and then we'll verify that as well if the flashing is done or not. So the flashing is just about to get completed and then we will check out the result as well. So as you can see, the flashing is now done. So now go back, again go back, now select reboot and choose recovery. So our phone should now boot to the TWRP recovery. If that happens, then it means that the recovery has been flashed permanently and you could now move on next step. So as you could see, our phone is now booted to the recovery mode. So with this, we have permanently flashed the recovery file. So with this, we are done with this step. Let's now move on to the next step. We have also booted the phone to recovery mode. So next up, you now have to flash the ROM. But before that, you first and foremost have to flash the firmware and then we'll flash the ROM file. So for flashing the firmware, make sure first and foremost you have both this file onto your phone. If you have not yet transferred the file, then you could again simply go to mount and make sure to check mark enable MTP and transfer the file onto your phone from here. Or you could also use the ADB push command and transfer the ROM file and the firmware file. So once you have both this file onto your phone and your phone is in the recovery mode, so go to the install section and first off select the firmware file and perform a right swipe to flash. The flashing of the firmware will now begin and it will only take a few seconds. So as you can see, the flashing is now done. So now go back, again go back, go to install. This time select the ROM file. So it's the, as you can see, the ROM file and perform a right swipe to flash. The flashing of the ROM will now start and as of now is step 1 of 2. This is a step which takes most of the time. The step 2 of 2 is usually fast. It only takes a few seconds. So the step 1 of 2 could take around 5 to 6 minutes. So let's wait for the time frame and then we'll be back. So guys, as you could see, the flashing is now complete and we have got a few error messages. That's completely normal and nothing to worry about. All you have to do is now go back, again go back, and now you have to do a format data. This will wipe off all the data from your phone. So make sure to have you have taken a backup beforehand. So now go to wipe, then go to format data, type in yes and hit the blue check mark. The formatting will now begin. So even if you're not able to do a format data, as you could see currently we are getting a failed message. That's not an issue. We will do a format data using the recovery of the custom ROM itself. So just tap on reboot system and your phone should now boot to the AOSP recovery itself, which comes inbuilt with the ROM, and then we will do a reset using that recovery, and that should fix the issue as well. So let me now show you that process as well. So as you could see, we are now in the AOSP recovery. So just use the volume keys to select the format data factory data reset and press the power key to confirm. Let me focus the device once again and hit the power key to confirm. Again use the volume key to select factory data reset and press the power key to confirm. And with this the formatting has now begun, and this time around we have done a format using the built-in AOSP recovery which comes with the ROM, and this time the formatting is now complete and our phone should now boot to the flash ROM. So let me show you the process as well. The first boot up could take a few additional seconds. So as you could see, our phone has now booted to the ROM, and let's wait for the time frame. So just to repeat what all we have done, so first off we flashed the TWRP recovery, then we installed the global firmware. Up until that point everything worked well and good. Then we flashed the ROM, but at the end of the flashing we got a few messages that it was unable to mount a few partition. You should simply ignore those messages and try to do a format data from the recovery itself. But as I have shown you, even if you did a format data via recovery, it was not successful. Again, that's not an issue. Simply hit the reboot system now button and your phone should now boot to the AOSP recovery, and from there you could do a factory reset, and this time around it will do successfully and your phone should now boot to the OS. So as you could see, the flashing is now complete and we are now in the OS. Currently I am skipping the initial setup screen. I will take you to the OS and show you the rest of the UI and UX of this ROM. So let me quickly skip all these stuffs and boot my phone to the OS. So as you could see, we have now booted to the Paranoid Android ROM. It's based on the latest Android 13 ROM, and it's currently the Topaz one. You could verify this is the Android version, as you could verify from here. It's on the latest April 5th build as well. And just a minute. So this is the okay. So apart from that, you could also check out some of the other features, that it's a clean and AOSP based ROM with just the required amount of feature. There aren't any additional features as such. Apart from the thermal profile, you could assign the kernel CPU usage on a per app basis according to the app that you want. For example, if there's a game that requires high CPU usage, then you could choose the gaming profile, and likewise you could allocate individual profiles to separate apps. So guys, on that note, I round off this video. So just before rounding off, I would like you to draw your attention towards this fact. So as I have shown you, the two methods of flashing are fastboot and recovery. So as you might have seen, the fastboot method is quite easy to execute and there was no issues as such. But in case of recovery method, you will come across a few error and warning messages, which is completely normal. But just to repeat, the first issue will arise once you flash the ROM. After flashing the ROM via TWRP recovery, you will get a few messages that the phone was not able to mount a few partition. That is completely normal. Next up, you have to do a format data via recovery. Once again, the process will fail. So again, that's not an issue. Just hit the reboot system now button and your phone will then automatically boot to the AOSP recovery. This is the recovery which comes inbuilt with the Paranoid Android ROM. So your phone will then boot to the AOSP recovery, and from there you have to do a factory reset, and then your phone will boot to the OS without any issues. So to avoid all this complication, to avoid flashing the recovery and to avoid flashing a global firmware, you should opt for the Fastboot method. But the choice is all yours, and if you still have any queries, do let me know in the comment section. And thanks a lot for watching.